This video tutorial is brought to you by Sew Magazine, the UK's only magazine with a full-sized, authentic dressmaker's tissue paper pattern inside every issue. For subscription offers, visit www.craftyclub.net. Hi, my name is Kate Hemmings and I'm pleased to welcome you to a very special video project demonstration where Corinne Bradd is going to show you how to stitch a full-length wedding veil for under £15. She's going to be using the free dressmaker's tissue pattern that comes with Sew Magazine issue 10, and it also features the pattern for a wedding dress complete with train and an all-occasion gown that's perfect for bridesmaids, mothers of the brides and a day at the races, among other things. So Corinne, let's get started.
We'll get started. Well Kate, we've started out with a 3-metre square of fine netting.
Okay.
Don't use stiff netting, you want something that hangs beautifully. And we've folded it in half and half again to make quarters. So what you do is you pin the corner of your wedding veil pattern to the corner of your folded or your quartered net.
Okay.
So you'd be advised to do this on the floor. Have a hoover first. Sorry Kate, I'm just going to need to move you. Use a pair of decent dressmaking scissors and just cut around the outside of the veil. Try and make the cut as smooth as possible and cut through all 4 layers of net as you're doing it. If you use dressmaker's shears, it's much better because you've got a long blade and you're less likely to make like a jagged, you don't really want a jagged edge on it.
No.
I mean, if you've got slight jagged edges, it's not going to show that much, but you know, it's a special occasion, especially if you're making it for yourself, or even worse if you're making it for a friend. You want to try and make it as professional as possible. Let's just pull that forward a tad more.
There we go.
Thank you. So keep cutting a smooth curve around the outside of it, and it is always best to do it on a flat surface, because you keep your scissors steady. Something my domestic science teacher always taught me, and I've never forgotten it. She also taught me never to use my dressmaking scissors with paper, something that I've always forgotten until I come to cut out a piece of material and find it won't cut anymore. So we'll just go along this side. This long piece that I'm doing now will be the sides of the veil. Okay? Kate, what you could do for me is you could just start unpinning that from that edge.
This edge here?
Yeah. Now as you see, I'm not cutting this right up to the sides of the pattern because it's not a precise measurement. As long as you have a nice smooth line, that will be fine. So there's your cutting complete. I'll just put the excess to one side. Just remove the pins. Don't know where that one's gone. Can I give them to you?
Of course you can.
Just lift this forward. And try and keep the veil as flat as possible as you're unpinning it, because what you need to do in a minute is you need to fold the length of the material, and it's not an exact measurement because again it depends on how tall you are, how long you want the main part of the train to be, the veil to be, how much of your face you want it to cover, whether you want it to come down over your bust line or just to your shoulders. But I'm going to fold it at about 1/3. That's great, thank you. And I'm going to charge you with the pattern. Okay, so here is your veil. These are the sides of the veil. So if we unfold it, say the length of the veil is about 3 metres. If you have got a large table to do this with, it's great, but make sure it's tall enough that everything can go off of the sides. Okay, so I reckon you need about 1/3 of it, so you need about 1 metre length, which will be about here. If you bear in mind that from this shoulder to this arm is about 1 metre, maybe a bit shorter, fold it in half like this. Oh, I feel like I work in a haberdasher's.
We did that very professionally.
Now, Kate, can I just ask you to grab your corner for me?
Yep,
Here we
just
go.
unravel this for you.
And does that look even to you? Yeah, that looks good to me. Okay, I'll start from this end. I'm sorry, Kate, I'm going to move you again.
Quite all right.
Try and keep the fold in place. I have here a pre-threaded needle because you know what I'm like with needlework. Use a double thickness of thread because what you don't want to happen is you don't want it to snap as you're gathering it. quite simply start on the fold. A knot's going to be no good really because of the size of the holes in the net. So if you knot your thread and then just pass the needle back through it to secure it in place.
It's a nifty little trick.
A nifty little trick. And then we will start to gather all along this fold line. You can use fairly big gathering stitches. Okay. Just like a running stitch. Gather all the way along the thread. I'm going to pause there for a second and we'll come back to it when I've gathered right across the edge.
Fantastic, thanks Corinne. That's the end of part 1. Stay tuned for part 2.